We have a healthcare crisis. We have a home foreclosure crisis. We have high unemployment, and we have two wars. But what does the media talk about? They talk about Officer James Crowley, Professor Henry Gates, Vice President Joe Biden, and President Barack Obama having a beer together. Thank you for watching me on YouTube. Today we're going to talk about two issues. We're going to talk about the birther movement and the Cash For Clunker issue. Well, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and start with the Cash For Clunker issue. Congress had passed a stimulus for $1 billion to get rid of some of these gas guzzling cars for clean, efficient cars. It was a big success, however, it only lasted 6 days. Now, many of the car dealerships are scrambling to promote this, and they're trying to not lose money and be forced to shut down. The government now owns GM, and this European company owns Chrysler. Millions of Americans are upset with President Obama because he's impacting on government restrictions on many of these car companies. And of course, this has been getting steam in the conservative circles as well, that they believe that the president is taking the banks, the car dealerships, the car companies, and many of the cable and television news outlets, which is leading to this quote unquote socialism. This type of tactic is being dismissed by millions of others who are really realizing that the government is needed to help us with the healthcare crisis, the home foreclosure crisis, the two wars, as well as the high unemployment. But to some of the conservatives, this cash for clunkers is a bust. And I agree. I tried to apply for it. I guess when I tried to apply for it, it didn't really do much. It just rebooted me back to the original screen page. But I have a clunker. I might as well trade it in for a nice new car with all those bells and whistles and all those little gadgets where I have to have high insurance, and I had to make sure that when I'm in neighborhoods I don't get racially profiled because I'm driving a nice new car. See, that really makes sense, right? The cash for clunkers. You know, put a black man in a nice new car, go through a neighborhood that is not familiar with some of the people who live in there. They call the police and I get racially profiled, right? Big bust. Anyway, on to this birthday issue. Millions of Americans who are on the conservative side blame President Obama for not showing his long form birth certificate. Barack Obama was born August 4th. He was born on the island of Oahu in the city of Honolulu in the state of Hawaii to Ann Durham and Barack Hussein Obama Sr. Unfortunately, to some of the conservatives like Bill Cunningham, Lou Dobbs, websites like WorldNetDaily and InfoWars, that's not enough. And they even gathered up other people like Orly Taitz, Dr. Jerome Corsi, Alan Keyes. They're all invested in trying to figure out where President Obama was born. Even though President Obama has stated that he was born in America, they won't believe it. Many of the conservatives think that Barry Soetoro or Barack Mohammed Hussein Obama was born in, well, Mombasa, Kenya. They even have proof. They even have his grandmother saying that he was born in Kenya. They have some ambassador saying that he's born in Kenya. And still, even though they can distort the message, people are buying it. Representative Mike Castle, a Republican from Delaware, was greeted by an angry constituent. She held a bag with her birth certificate. She demanded that the Republicans investigate President Obama. She wanted to know why President Obama is not being questioned on his birth certificate. The congressman basically said he's an American citizen, but that wasn't good enough. The angry constituent had made a scene, and it went viral because of the Drudge Report and Rush Limbaugh. And all of a sudden now this birther issue is now in the mainstream news. The Southern Poverty Law Center is involved. MSNBC is debunking it. CNN is debunking it with the exception of Lou Dobbs. And Fox News even debunked it. So I don't know what's going on. What's going on with the conservative movement? What is going on with the Republicans who are not trying to tell the constituents that the president is a natural born citizen? Chairman Michael Steele, my representative, John Boehner, the minority leader, he's not talking about it. And many other Republicans who ran away from Mike Stark of Fire Dog Lake are not talking about it. So let me think here. The president turns 48. Happy birthday to the president of the United States on August 4th. Will he show his long form birth certificate, or will they just keep pressuring him, pressuring him, and pressuring him in order to get what they want? Even though he may show his long birth certificate, it probably won't be enough because they won't believe it anyway. Once you're invested in a conspiracy, you're in it. Regardless of what anybody says, you can have thousands of facts, but one conspiracy theorist will never believe you. Cash for clunkers. How about cash for a birth certificate?